Hello and welcome to another video from My Stacks Toys Games Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that's now very old, has become extremely collectible, and is becoming increasingly more difficult to find, especially in this mint condition. Now we are looking at the 1996 release by Applause from their 30th anniversary series of Star Trek miniature collectibles. And this particular item we are looking at today is of the Sulu miniature collectibles, and it is all based on an original Star Trek episode, which is called The Naked Time. And obviously we all know that Star Trek is an American science fiction television series. It was created by Gene Roddenberry, and it follows the adventures of the starship USS Enterprise NCC 1701 and its crew. The ship is commanded by the legendary Captain James T. Kirk, with his first officer, the Vulcan science officer Mr Spock, and his loyal chief medical officer, Dr. McCoy, or Leonard Bones McCoy, as he's known to Kirk. Now, the series is set in circa 2266 to 2269, about 300 years in the future of when the actual series was being produced, and it's all centered about their exploration of the Milky Way galaxy. Now, the series ran for 3 seasons. There was a total of 79 episodes produced, including the original pilot, which was obviously the first to be produced. It starred Jeffrey Hunter as Captain Christopher Pike, and it was not accepted by the production company. And that was because I think Gene Roddenberry promised the production company a space western, and what they got was something a little bit different, which wasn't what they asked for and what they was promised. So that particular program was not accepted, but a second pilot was ordered, which was the episode When No Man Has Gone Before, and that starred William Shatner as Captain James T. Kirk, and the rest is history. Basically, that was accepted and the rest is history. So 3 seasons, each having, I think, 30, 33 or 35, something like that, episodes per season. Not 35, 26 episodes per season, I should say. Get ahead of myself there. I'm trying to invent more episodes, but there we are. Anyway, budget for season 1 was $190,000, which was a fair sized budget back in 1966. However, season 2, it was reduced to $185,000, and season 3 was to $175,000. So not quite sure why they reduced the budget. Probably the production companies tightening their purse strings, and also maybe the fact that all the sets were built with the budget from the first season, so chances are that they didn't really need as much money to carry on producing. But sadly, after season 3, the viewing figures wasn't high enough for them to continue with the 4th season, so the series was axed. However, the series did follow on in syndication across many different television networks, and popularity grew and grew and grew until they decided they was going to relaunch Star Trek as phase 2, or before that, in actual fact. They did sign up and do the animated series, which ran from 1972 to 1973. But trying to bring Star Trek back to the screen, however, with the success of Star Wars on the cinema screen, they decided that let's scrap Star Trek Phase 2 and let's go and do a big blockbuster motion picture and follow on the success of Star Wars. And of course, that was produced, and the rest is history. Now, one of the episodes from season 1 was called The Naked Time, and it is where they go to a planet and they pick up this virus and it infects the crew. and they all end up living out their fantasies or becoming very emotional. And Sulu, who's obviously the helmsman of the Enterprise, his fantasy was to be a swordsman, and that is precisely what he did try to do in the episode. And this particular diorama is all based on that episode. Okay, so this is the box it comes in, and it says Star Trek collectibles at the top, and you've got Everyone Loves Applause. Everyone Loves to Get Applause, which is the logo, and that's here on the top corner there. And again, Everyone Loves to Get Applause on the front here, and you've got the Star Trek 30th anniversary logo there. It says Star Trek collectibles Sulu miniature. Okay, that's the front, and then the side you can see an image of Sulu as he appeared in that episode, with his shirt off, with his fencing sword out, and that is an actual still from the show. And again, it's got Sulu and Everyone Loves to Get Applause. And if we turn the box round to the other side, you've got the Star Trek 30th anniversary logo and Everyone Loves to Get Applause again. Okay, on the back, it says here, for adults only, Star Trek, product name Sulu Miniature, aired week of September 29th, 1966. Starfleet data log and the logo there. So the star date is 1704.2. Production number 7, and the episode is The Naked Time. Hikaru Sulu initially signed aboard the USS Enterprise as a physicist and quickly became the ship's helm officer. A jovial man, Sulu's hobbies included botany, collecting old-style handguns, and fencing. When a virus from the planet PSI 2000 infected the crew of the Enterprise, they discovered they were losing all emotional restraint. The virus led several crew members to do dangerous things. Lieutenant Riley took himself in engineering and turned off the ship's engines, while Mr Sulu threatened the bridge crew and ship's security officer with his fencing foil. The crew eventually found a cure for the disease and rescued the Enterprise before its orbit decayed. So that's a brief synopsis of the episode. And on the bottom of the box it says Everyone Loves to Get Applause, and you've got applause details there in Woodland, California, and the copyright and licensing information at the bottom there, Star Trek logo, and the barcode at the bottom. Okay, that's the box. Let's open it up, let's get it out, and let's have a look at the miniature itself. Okay, so I have removed the item from the box, and this is what it looks like. Now, it does come in the polystyrene packaging, and it does have sponges inserted in it to keep it all together, and it is wrapped very securely in the box, so it would take a lot to damage it, the way they wrapped it. I've very carefully removed all the packaging from the item, and this is what we've got. So this is the model as it appears, and there you can see Hikaru Sulu, and that's a pretty good likeness of Sulu, as played by George Takei, and pretty much what he looked like when he was in the prime of his life in the TV episode. I think the six-pack is a little exaggerated there. I don't think his six-pack was quite like that in the episode, but it is extremely well done. The facial features are just about right, I think, with that wry smile that he wore when he was chasing people with his sword, and obviously he's got his fencing sword there as well, and you can see the panel of the Enterprise there, which is all nicely done. I presume that was round the right hand side of the bridge, or maybe the left, maybe near where Ahura sits, I'm not quite sure. And there's obviously the fence that goes around the circle just above Kirk's chair, above Kirk's chair. Kirk's chair would have been down in the middle there. But yeah, really nice model. On the bottom of it, it says Star Trek Applause, Inc., Woodlands Hill, California 91365. 1996, Paramount Pictures, copyright information, Star Trek and related marks, trademarks of Paramount Pictures. Applause, the authorised user, made in China. And it's 46158, Sulu miniature, collectible only. This item is not a toy, it's a first edition. There was only 3,000 pieces made worldwide, and this is 2642 of those 3,000 pieces. So very limited edition. And I say it was run for the 30th anniversary. So let's get some sizes. It might be a little bit awkward to measure, but let's measure the height. So we're looking at 10 centimeters, and that's from the bottom of the base to the top of Sulu's head. Now, widest point is going to be from the tip of the sword to his arm, or to his hand, I should say, and that's about 12.5 centimeters there. And if we measure this way, really from the back to we're about 7 centimeters there. So 7 centimeters by about 7 centimeters again by 10 centimeters. So that gives you an idea of the size there. Really, really lovely piece, and really does look very, very nice on display. I don't have one of these in my display, and I'm quite tempted to purchase one and add one into my display. I do have quite a few of the miniatures in my display at home, but I don't have this particular one, so it is very, very tempting. I think it's a great miniature, and very, very nostalgic for anyone that does like the original series, and that was such a iconic episode, The Naked Time. In fact, there was a follow-up to that in this Next Generation. They did an episode called The Naked Now, which is the same kind of thing. It was the same virus that they picked up. But anyway, okay, so how did this do back in 1996? Well, 1996, Star Trek was massive, and it was the 30th anniversary, which was merchandise produced left, right, and centre. And pretty much everything that was being produced was selling out very, very quickly. It was still the largest sci-fi franchise in the world at the time, but not long afterwards, Star Wars, the new trilogy was announced, and that catapulted Star Wars back up to the most popular franchise again. But at this time, at the point when these were all being produced for the 30th anniversary of Star Trek was the most popular sci-fi franchise in the world. So very popular, and I know that all these miniatures sold very, very quickly. We still had the shop at the time, and when these miniatures come in, we opened them up, and we had one of each on display, and boxes of the unopened ones underneath. And the first weekend they went out for display, the whole lot of the stock had gone, and we'd even sold all of the display items, which we took off and put back into the boxes and gave them to customers because they wanted them. So very, very popular and sold exceptionally well. It did take a few weeks for more stock to come in, but then of course that was the last lot because there were such limited numbers. So but yeah, sold exceptionally well. Okay, so let's move forward almost 30 years. We're moving forward 29 years to 2025, which is where we are today. Do these come up for sale very often on the platforms nowadays? And the answer to that is no. Some of these miniatures do still come up for sale on the platforms. This particular one, I couldn't find any on the platforms, not surprisingly, because it was only 3,000 pieces made, very, very low numbers of this particular one. And obviously very collectible and such an iconic miniature that the chances of it coming up are quite limited. I suppose if you wait and you look hard enough, eventually one will probably come up for sale. But I couldn't find any on any of the platforms of this particular one. So a few of the other ones have popped up when I was looking for this one, but I couldn't find anything on this one. So to coin a phrase, no, it doesn't come up for sale on the platforms, hardly ever. And as I say, that's probably because of the limited quantities. However, we at Midas Touch have done it again, and we've managed to find a small quantity of these miniatures. Now, these are all part of a shop buyout that we did, and there was a whole case of miniatures in the stock room that had never been opened, and they come in an assortment. So there was various different ones in the assortment, and I think this particular one, we've got 2 pieces available, and as of today, they are available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website. We'll be able to find this and many, many other vintage Star Trek items, and many other vintage toys, games, and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there is something in particular you're looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful Mr Sulu vintage Star Trek 30th anniversary miniature diorama with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.